Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. This is Aisha Irhan, your instructor of computer science. I hope you all are keeping well. I decided to start this lesson with this theme picture. As you can see, skyscrapers along with a blue, beautiful sky moving. So that clearly shows that when there is a will, there is a way. Children, do you know that before the establishment of Pakistan as an independent state, history students can relate very well that British ruled over South Asia for nearly 200 years. They used the evil means to crush the Muslims. They seized the properties to shatter the economy of the Muslims. But Muslims were very small in quantity, but they did it. They did whatever they wanted in terms of Pakistan. And it's not very easy. Now, although we can simply discuss as a part of the history that they did a great deal of. Giving us Pakistan, but the reality is that they were so determined. So, why can't we be determined in our ideas, our perspectives? So, I hope you are going to inculcate that determination in your life to be a better human being. It's never too late. We should not give up saying, I can't do it very quickly. Rather, we should keep on trying until and unless we achieved our desired goal. So, moving to the topic, what exactly we are going to do today, since we are already done with the sensors, we are done with the sensors and its types. Okay, so today we are going to study practical applications, little more details about what do you mean by monitoring sensors and controlling sensors. And I will be giving you things to do in the end of the class also. Okay, so by the end of the class today, you will be able to describe monitoring application using sensors. So are we all ready? So moving ahead, the thing that we have to understand before understanding what exactly do you mean by monitoring applications, where do we use sensors? Children, intentionally, unintentionally, knowingly, unknowingly, we are using sensors everywhere, starting from automatic push buttons, and anything that you use in your daily life, we use sensor. It may be medical field, it may be industrial field, it may be aerospace and motorsport, any other sport, agriculture and automotive. Okay, so if you talk about automotive, you use automatic car. You might have seen your car headlights turn on automatically whenever there is a dark mode. And all those people who are using this automatic car, they can always relate that they even merely know where their manual buttons lie because they're so used to offer these sensors in the life. So in a similar manner, sensors have a great deal in medical. We'll be talking about more about medical, but you may always relate to agricultural field. I know we are a little bit far behind others. But if you talk about Western world, they have inculcate lots of sensors in their agricultural mode. Of irrigation and other fields, and they're doing wonders in that field also. Same goes to other fields, so we'll be talking about some of the details in terms of applications in monitoring applications in using sensors. But you can always do it as a research project. You can analyze that where sensors are used in industrial applications, or industrial mode and aerospace also. So moving ahead, as I told you that sensors are of two types, uses of sensors are of two types. That is, we can use sensors to monitor, and sorry, this is control. Okay, so let me clear this. Give me 1 minute. So, sensors can be used to monitor applications and to control applications. But the question remains intact, that what do you mean by monitoring applications and what do you mean by controlling applications before we start? So, coming to the topic, what do you mean by monitoring and what do you mean by controlling? So, monitoring is actually a collection or a recording, or you can say reporting of the project information that is of importance to not only project manager but other relevant stakeholders also. And control application means it uses the monitor data and information to bring actual performance into agreement with the plan. Okay, so monitor is collection, recording, and reporting, and while controlling is to use the monitored data and information to bring actual performance. So we'll coming into detail of monitoring application today. So let's see what we have after it. This is a clear demonstration of what is the difference between monitoring system and controlling system. I want you to imagine that for entering your, oh, I'm sorry, for entering your school gate, okay, for entering your school gate. Okay, let's suppose we have biometric system over here. I hope you all know what is biometric system. Biometric system is the system that we have already have done in our last semester, but here for your clear understanding, this is a system where you can identify yourself either through a fingerprint, okay, or by your face. Fingerprint or with your face. Okay, so that is your school, and to enter the school you have to give your identification via your fingerprint or biometric system. So let's go into detail. Sensor sends signals, so this means like if you enter and you show your face, okay, this is your face and you're showing your face, so sensor here will send signal to the microprocessor or the computer that is linked with the school system. Okay, the signal is then converted into digital because the signal is analog, and it's going to convert in the form of digital wave so computer can understand. The computer or the microprocessor analyzes the data received, checking it against the stored values. Okay, so, microprocessor will definitely have already have your face, and as I told you in the last semester that you may put on your weight, but your distance between your mouth and your face, and the distance between two eyes remain same intact. So it doesn't matter that if you have changed your hairstyle or you have put on weight, but computer will recognize you for sure if you belong to that system. So if new data is outside the acceptance range, this means if somebody else is trying to log in using biometric system, so nothing is going to happen. Either alarm will be activated, or in our case a red light. A red light is shown indicating that you do not belong to that system. Okay, and you can try it again, and sometimes it happens that whenever we try to log in, our face is not within the square of that biometric system, so you have to do it again to log in. Okay, I hope you are visualizing what I'm explaining. This is what you call monitoring the system. It will keep on monitoring you, showing you red light, telling you that you are unable to log in correctly. Do it again. A red light only shows that. But if somebody else, that is the person who is not part of your school system, is trying to enter your school gate, right, if the new data is outside the acceptance of the range, what is going to happen, that signal is going to send to the computer in your case, okay, intimating owners that somebody is trying to enter who does not belong to that particular system. This is what we call controlling the system. Is it clear to you now? Now, as soon as we are going to move ahead, the concept is going to be much more clearer. Let me erase this board and move on to the next slide. Monitoring applications, there are lots of applications using sensors in terms of monitoring systems, out of which we'll be picking a few examples, and few examples will be left for our students to analyze yourself. um, First example is monitoring patient in a hospital for vital signs such as heart rate, temperature. Okay, so this is one of the example. If you go into detail, there are lots of monitoring application available. Monitoring sensors available, I'm sorry. It reminds me of one statement given by my mother. She says that, we should be thankful to Allah Ta'ala because Allah Ta'ala has given us each and everything perfect, and we do not need any kind of extra equipment to live on. Although there are lots of people who are using such kind of sensors to live, even to have their vital signs intact, starting from your nail finger, with every part of your body. Allah Ta'ala has given us everything, so we should be very thankful. Although, if you talk about people, they are using electro magnetic bands also, and they're using chest strap also, they're using caps also. These are the sensors that deals with the sensory organs of your sensory motor organs of your brains, and they control it. So we do not need any kind of, alhamdulillah, such kind of external controlling. Even, optical sensors are also available in the market that aids you to see properly, in terms of glasses, contact lenses, and cameras. Although, like every kind of sensor, starting from pacemaker, I hope you have heard this name before. Pacemaker is actually an equipment, a device that controls your heartbeat or pulses. This is for heart patients. This is this chapter or this topic reminds us that how important it is to keep ourselves well, to make conscious effort of it. Okay, so if you talk about applications in terms of medical, so there are lots of fields regarding it. For example, like if you talk about wellness, activity, and fitness monitoring is very much available. And you must know that if you install some applications in your gadget, they can count your footsteps also. And this is very common now. Even, fall detection and cardiac arrest detection, as I told you, in terms of pacemaker, is also available. And in other words, like every kind of sensors pertaining to medical field is now available. So moving towards other examples, monitoring of intruders. I'm sorry, maybe I went little bit fast. Monitoring of intruders in a burglar alarm system. I will be touching upon it in detail. So we'll be picking upon these two examples, that is monitoring a patient in hospital for vital signs, and monitoring of intruders in burglar alarm system in detail. Okay, this is very interesting topic. Till I'm going to start it, I want you to visualize all burglar alarm systems around you. It might be in your own home, it might be in your father's office, or somewhere, or your friend's house, anywhere that you have noticed. We will be talking about it soon. The third one is checking the temperature levels in a car engine. You might have noticed that whenever your engine goes wrong or temperature rises, you might have seen a red light lit up in your car, or any alarm that is there in your car. Uh, so, like this is again related to monitoring applications using sensors. Even, in developed countries, monitoring pollution levels in a river is very, very important. I hope one day we are going to have such kind of sensors in our rivers also. So, moving ahead, I'll show you one video before we start so that we have a clear understanding of what we have to do today.
Whenever an emergency or intrusion occurs, the sensors communicate the same to the control panel installed in your home. The control panel then contacts the central monitoring station with the help of your landline. If the landline fails to contact the central monitoring station, a message is displayed on the control panel. In case of GSM dialer, as a substitute can avert landline failures. Once the central monitoring station receives an alert from your control panel, it highlights the same on the monitor. On the top of the screen, the address of the location and customer is visible. Also visible on the page is the account number of the customer, the name of the customer, the zone number, event, and user ID. The operator of the system then gets in touch with the owner of the electronic security system immediately to confirm the authenticity of the alert. To do this, he asks for the customer to identify himself by asking for the password given to them during the time of installation. In case he cannot get in touch with you, he will try and contact the alternate numbers provided by you. The operator then gets in touch with the right authority, be it police or the fire department or the hospital, and then informs them of the emergency. Get the Eurovigil electronic.
The example of burglar alarm system was beautifully explained in that video, and I hope you all have understood the whole concept. It varies from one system to another, but like some of the system, they may allow acoustic sensor, that is sound sensor, infrared sensor, and the pressure sensor to be a part of that interface. For example, if somebody is trying to enter, or somebody is creating a noise, breakage of window or anything, or somebody is applying a pressure to intrude in your system, in your vicinity, so you know that this analog wave produced by wait analog wave produced by that particular movement is going to be converted into digital. That's what we know for sure. And again, it's going to be compared with the data, and ultimately the output may be either in the form of siren lights or informing the people who owns this security system, so that they may reach at the spot then and there. Sometimes it's so sensitive, children, you might have seen that even movement of a cat or a mouse can intimate those kind of people who belong to that system, and they may come to you asking you for your security. So these are very sensitive system, and we usually turn it on whenever there is no extra movement. That is, we never turn it on in the morning time. Agreed, we never turn it on in the morning time because we keep on moving and there's a movement, there's a sound everywhere. So we turn it on in the night, and as soon as we turn it on, we try to confine ourselves in the room so that our movement is not detected by infrared sensor, or if we are going to open the door, it's not going to be affected by pressure sensor or making any kind of noise. Is going to be affected, is sensed by acoustic sensor. And then ultimately, people out there will who are administering this burglar alarm system will call you ultimately asking for your safety. Okay, so moving ahead, there are few things we already have discussed verbally. Now let's have a clear understanding that a burglar alarm monitoring system will carry out following actions. As I told you, that it's going to be activated by keying in a press on a keyboard at a safe time, not in the morning time, preferably. When you need monitoring, because you need monitoring when you are not around. Either you are absent from that system or from that area, you need to be monitored, or you are definitely resting. As I told you, the infrared sensor picks up the movement, while acoustic or sound sensor picks up the sounds of the footstep, and the pressure sensor picks up the weight. And then, as I told you, it's going to be converted into ADC, passed through ADC, and converted into digital data. And the computer or the microprocessor will sample the digital data coming from these sensors at a given frequency. The data is compared with the stored values of a computer or microprocessor and informed accordingly. Okay, this is the concept that I have given you a minute ago. Wait, give me 1 minute, please. As I told you, that if any of the incoming data are outside the acceptable range, a sound, a light, or informing the authorities will be done. Okay. So I hope the concept, example number one pertaining to a burglar alarm system, is clear to you. So moving ahead. Okay, coming to monitoring patients in a hospital, I want my children to visualize that you are standing right in front of any patient, and you can see lots of gadgets surrounded by that patient. When I was young, I used to think that how come is it possible for nurses and doctors to keep an eye on everybody sitting at the main counter. I never knew that it is actually monitored from the administrative desk. So you do not need to move from one ICU to another one to have a look, although they receive complete signals if certain value, for example, ECG is lowering down, is going down, or any other value, blood pressure or anything is going down. So they are informed at the spot because of the central processor being installed in their desks or gadgets where most of the sensors are connected, as I told you. Okay, so, coming back to the topic, what happens? A number of sensors are attached to the patient. I want you to visualize these measures vital signs such as temperature, heart rate, and breathing, right? Okay, these sensors are all attached to the computer system, you know very well. Somewhere you are, let's suppose, sitting at the main desks, and you know there are eight patients, and you have information of eight patients, and all are normal. As soon as one of the temperature or one of the heart rate or breathing rate goes down in bed number one, let's say, you will be informed in terms of red light in that case because alarm is avoided, or any other signals that can provoke you to understand that something wrong is happening. The sensors constantly send data back to the computer system, and the computer system samples the data at frequent intervals. Okay, so if you go ahead, the range of acceptable values for each parameter is keyed into the computer. Acceptable values is already keyed, is already fed into the computer, and every time computer is comparing those values from the sensors with those values that is keyed in. If anything is out of acceptable range, a signal is then sent by the computer to sound the alarm. As I told you, in our case, it's not the alarm, it's a red light usually. Okay, or any small beep. Beep is fine. It If it's not affecting other patients also, if the data from the sensors is within the range, the value are either graphical form on the screen, as you can see, in terms of ECG, or any digital readout. A readout. Monitoring continues until the sensors are disconnected from the patient. Okay, so I hope the concept is clear to you now. So moving ahead to the next slide. Okay, I'm going to ask you a few questions. If you're able to answer, that you're on the right track, and I'll be telling you that what you have to write in your booklet as well. But before it reminds me, the patient example reminds me one example of the pacemaker. As I told you, you must know what exactly is a pacemaker. But for all those students who doesn't know, they're low energy electrical pulses to control the rate and rhythm of your heartbeat. Okay, so this means, you know, if your heartbeat goes down, the sensor will give a message, and it will automatically make it to the level that is required for the patient to be alive. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions. If you're able to get it, then you are on the right track. If not, then you must go back and look at your lessons again. My question is, this is something that is used to automatically collect the data from the physical environment, and these can be used to collect data about temperature, light, humidity, or movement. So what is it? Sensors. Good. Fine. If you do not know a proper definition of sensors, I hope you are writing. Okay, now. Next, this sensor is used to make measure is used to measure water vapor in air and can be used in at a weather station. So what is it? Humidity sensor. Correct. Next, this sensor is used to measure body heat and can be used in a computer room security alarm system. Children, if you are not aware of definition clearly, although you must know that you can always take it as a reference that what exactly is the expectation to answer whenever question is being asked. So the answer is infrared sensor, and we have done it a minute ago. This sensor is used to measure light level and can be used for external security to light up a car park, for example. So, which kind of sensor? Light sensor. Correct. This sensor is used to measure acid alkali levels and can be used in science experiment. If you are using the word pH sensor, this means you are on the right track. Okay. The sensor is used to measure pressure and can be used at the security door mats at the door entrance. As I told you very, very clearly in the example a minute ago, it's a pressure sensor when we were discussing about burglar alarm system. The sensor is used to measure atmospheric smoke sensor, and can be used for smoke alarms in classroom. If you have been outside our country, this means in other countries, so you might have noticed that these smoke alarms are available in your residential um, area also, at every home. The sensor is used to measure level of noise and can be used for security alarm in school and office. A sound or acoustic sensor is appropriate example. The sensor detects how far an object is from. Okay, so proximity sensor is one of the example. The sensor that detects the change of how cool or hot something is. Temperature sensor, is it correct? Okay. So next goes the sensor that detects how much water there is in a container cup used for greenhouse or water feeding system. Water level sensor is one of the example. The sensor that detects the position of an object on the earth's surface. What is it? GPS sensor is one of the example. The sensor which detects an object's position or motion, movement sensor is one of the example. Okay, so moving back. Okay, if you talk about things to do today, so today in the booklet you have to write this question. A security system using sensor, camera, and a microprocessor to capture image of each person's entering a large shopping mall described how the sensors, camera, and microprocessor interact to identify certain people entering the mall. Here, they have little bit confused you by using the word microprocessor after camera, although sensors over here clearly shows that you're going to write details at how and which kind of sensors you are going to use, and then how it is going to be converted into using ADC, analog to digital converter. It is going to be converted and sent to microprocessor, and then what exactly is the role played by camera. So you're going to write complete details of it, and we'll discuss about it in the next class before we start our last next lesson also, although you may discuss it with your teachers as well. So thank you so much, but before winding up, there's one thing I would like to show you, and that is this is the video, a short guide on burglar alarm system, a smart home. It's a very interesting video. I want you to watch it whenever you find time. Okay, this is interesting and will clear your understanding pertaining to burglar alarm system also. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed this lesson, and do not forget to complete your work in the booklet. You should do it side by side. Allah Hafiz, take care of yourself.